last time?
Vince, how many do we have last time? It was over 200. Or was it 400? Or was it 600? I don't remember.
I thought it was 200 something, but I could be wrong.
200 something. Yeah, I know it was over 200.
I'm gonna guess 222.
Oh my gosh,
Oh.
that was what I was gonna say. Stop it.
Wait,
22 is my number.
222. We can play the Price is Right and say I'll go 1.
Oh, 222.
Stole my number.
Well, you already lost there with a 1. Okay, $1, Bob. $1. We're loading up here, and we're about to crack the 100 people mark, 100 viewers mark. That's good. Oh, we're in for some good stuff today. I'm excited about today, as a matter of fact. I've been waiting for this. Social media with some professionals like you guys and girls. This is good stuff.
I
love
this 9-panel thing. It's very Brady Bunch. I don't know if it looks like that for you guys, but we're like perfectly like.
Love it. Yeah, this looks really good.
I'm already annoying people. The doors are being slammed on me.
My office.
We're gonna start here about 30 seconds, guys.
All right, very good. Vince, you want to kick it off?
I'm going to kick this off, guys. Welcome to the Rethink Council panel here talking on social media today. I'm Vince Lisi from Omaha, Nebraska, the CEO, broker of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services and Ambassador Real Estate. So welcome, welcome, welcome. You're going to see each one of the panelists in the comments. We're going to be putting their handles. Some of them I see have already put it up next to the name. So if you want to know their social media handles for Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is, we'll have that down there for you to look at. So it's going to be a great day, a lot of information. Vic, kick this thing off and let's roll.
All right. Hey, guys. My name is Vic Quiros with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, California Properties. I'm the managing partner of our downtown Los Angeles, and I am one of the senior advisors for the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services National Rethink Council, which you are about to witness some of our fantastic network agents from around the country sharing their best ideas on video content and social media. So make sure to grab your pens, grab your papers, crayons, napkins, whatever it is to take some notes. And also remember, this recording will be put on our BHHS Resource Center after the event has concluded. That said, we want to go ahead and introduce some of our panelists. And I think we want to start with the 2 Sarahs. Is that okay with you guys? Sarah Robertson, why don't you tell us who you are, where you're from?
Hi, everyone. I am at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Jacqueline Real Estate in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, so in the northern panhandle. I'm also licensed in Eastern Washington, just across the border. And yeah, I've been in real estate 3 years and super excited to be on the Rethink Council and share what I know with you guys.
Sarah, that's great. You've done some good stuff here. You do a little bit about, on social media, you do like day in the life of an agent, right? You're really good at, showing content to your sphere of influence. Can you give us maybe some ideas of what has really worked for you in the past and how you came about that?
Yeah, sure. I sell mostly to my sphere. I would say 99% of my business comes from my sphere of influence. So social media is great for me because I can reach, thousands of people in my sphere all at once. I'm mostly on Facebook and Instagram. I have a couple of different demographics. I was a high school teacher for many years before I got into real estate. So my younger crowd is kind of on Instagram, and then people my age are a little bit more on Facebook. So I share to both. And it's just been a great way. It's been super successful for me to just stay in contact with everybody, stay front of mind, using those platforms. So I think what's key is that you need to figure out, and what has worked well for me is figuring out what content your sphere wants to see and what is going to get them to engage with you. And what works for my sphere might be different than what works for your sphere. So I do, a lot of things that a lot of people do. I mean, I always post on my just listeds, my just solds. I like to do a little story about my sellers and buyers at closing time. I think a lot of my sphere will relate to those stories. And of course, I don't want to inundate all my sphere with just real estate. I want to show them who I am as a person. I post a lot about my family, all our travels with sports and my kids and what they're up to and what my hobbies are and things like that. And those are really important to me. They're valuable. to show people what I'm doing day to day, just in my life. But what has really turned into something where I'm getting the most engagement that turns into actual conversations about real estate, and lets me know who is maybe looking to buy or sell or might be in the future, kind of happened by accident. What I started doing, just because it was kind of fun, was in my stories, I would post things that I saw at showings that were weird, unusual, funny, or amazing. And I started getting a ton of comments in my DMs about what I was showing. So for example, I posted, there was a deer stand on some acreage in North Idaho that had a hot tub on it. And of course, I said only in North Idaho. So I just got flooded with, oh my God, if I could shoot a deer from my hot tub, what could be better? So just things like that. And so then I comment, well, what's stopping you from doing that now? I know this person lives in a neighborhood in Coeur d'Alene. So, how can we get you there? How can we get you your own deer stand with a hot tub, and just kind of then overcoming their objections as we talk through that, like, why aren't you living on property? What do we need to do to get you there? So just weird off the wall things like that have turned into so many different conversations for me that it's, turned into business. And, people are like, why am I not doing that right now? So that's kind of what works for me. When I see people in person, I know they're seeing my other posts because they will comment to me in person, but just something funny like that. I try to do it every showing, find the coolest thing or the most unique thing or the funny thing and put that in my stories. And that's where I get engagement that turns into conversation.
Sarah, that's a very unique sighting. I don't think we have those here in Los Angeles, a deer post with a hot tub in it. Can you give me an example of one of the posts that you put out there, something, very unique or crazy that you saw in a showing where one of your sphere of influence audiences watching this said, hey, you know what? That's so cool. By the way, I'm thinking about buying, selling, investing in real estate, or it actually converted into an actual conversation where you maybe got a deal out of it.
Yeah, I think one that I did recently was some former students of mine, a young couple, were able to kind of keep the first home they had ever bought, and were able to use that as a rental. And it wasn't exactly this situation, but I did a little story on how they were able to keep their primary home as a rental and use the equity in it to purchase their next home. And and start kind of a little portfolio of properties for themselves at a very, very young age. And that's a huge part of my sphere is, young folks this age. So I did a little story, and just flooded with other people in that kind of age group that are looking to do something similar. And gosh, I think I got 5-10 current buyers that are looking to do the same thing right now. So I think just sharing a story that is going to relate to a large group of people in my sphere. I just got inundated with comments when I did a story about that.
That's fantastic. It works, right, Vince?
It works. It
works.
I love that you're being consistent on as you're out in showings, you're looking for those unique things that gives you excuses of something to post about on a regular basis. So that keeps you relevant in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, Sarah. I really love that. Good stuff, good ideas. And hopefully the audience is taking notes on how to keep their eye open on showings for unique things they can turn into a story and get some engagement going on in their social media. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing that. Let's change gears a little bit. We're going to go to Miss Sarah Rothstein. Sarah, welcome. Hi there.
Hey, thank you.
Hi there. Tell them who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Sarah Rothstein. I'm with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Florida Network Realty in Jacksonville, Florida. So we're Jacksonville, St. Augustine, and everywhere kind of in the Northeast Florida bubble.
Yeah. So you do a lot of social media stuff, but you are a very unique storyteller. I got to say, there was a post that you put up the other day, and I had it all the way through because I actually saw it. It really did make me laugh out loud. So tell them a little bit about how you engage with your sphere and your storytelling stuff.
Yeah, I bet that was storytelling about Italy. Vic, but yeah, I try to, when I'm posting something on social media, I try to make it fun. I try to make it natural. Kind of similar to what Sarah said. I want to be creative. I want to hit different people, and different people have different disc profiles. So I try to, post different type of pieces of content and tell a story, so that it hits different people in different ways. One of the things I try to do, we're always trying to talk about our value and how we separate ourselves in the market right now. So one of the things that I've done in the past, but I'm trying to definitely focus on more now, is making videos to show how I set myself apart from other realtors. An example of that would be I like to pass out flyers, not just for open houses, but also to a neighborhood. When I have a listing, I like to pass out flyers to renters and target renters in that neighborhood. I've had several sales before in the past where I knock on doors, mail, and also send them some mailing invitations and everything. And I find that these people, really love the neighborhood that they're in, and I've made sold transactions that way. So I had a listing once, and it was raining. I kind of did this is how it started and this is how it's going. I was handing out flyers, and I didn't let the rain stop me. And so I looked all cute and everything at first. And then by the end of the post, I did a fun little reel where at the end I looked like my hair was like out to here. And it was awesome. My seller loved it and appreciated it and could tell what I was doing. And then also I was just putting that out to all my sphere and everyone on social media so that they know, wow, this girl is actually, pulling her weight and doing something that you typically don't necessarily see. Again, I like to do fun videos. When I do a listing video, I just personally don't enjoy just elevator music kind of thing, so if I'm putting out a listing, I try to make it fun and catchy and different. And I have had, I go into listing appointments, the videos might not be as polished as some, but I have a lot of sellers that, when I walk in, they are really impressed, and they'll tell me, that they really enjoy the marketing and the information that I'm putting out there. And they find it fun.
What's some of the things that you're doing? You've said fun, I think 3 or 4 times. What are some of the things that you're doing that are kind of fun little things in the videos that has drawn attention to the video or to the post?
Well, I call it fun. That the example I gave of me in the rain is one thing. I do a lot of this is what $600,000 will get you in Northeast Florida. I know that's a pretty standard thing, but I try to focus on kind of like Sarah Roberts said, some unique features in the property. I use TikTok. I don't post on TikTok a lot, but I do. Like when I'm going through a video, let's say for that $600,000 listing, this is what 600,000 gets you in Northeast Florida. I will take clips of the video of the house, and then I'll go on to TikTok, because TikTok has these like in a minute, you can create a video where it, is synced to some fun music. And I don't have to do anything. I just upload like 6 clips and it creates a fun video. And then I'll download that from TikTok and post it on different types of social media. So just things that are kind of catchy, I guess.
Perfect. Vic.
Yeah. I do want to hear one story, Sarah, if you could, to share with the audience, where you put a post up and you had just a massive amount of your audience engaged with you, and that turned into a deal. Do you have one of those stories to share with the group?
Yeah, so people out here, we're in Northeast Florida, so a lot of our communities are HOA communities that have, smaller lot sizes and things like that. So whenever I see a unique opportunity of like a house, everybody wants a house that's not in an HOA and that's on land, it seems like, and that's kind of hard to find. So I was out at a house, in about an hour outside of Jacksonville, and the listing, this was one of those that this is what $750,000, whatever gets you. It's a beautiful house, beautiful property. And I did a few clips, put it on TikTok, made a video, posted it on social media, and I probably had like 5 different people. I had a lot of engagement, first of all, saying how beautiful the property was and everything. And then I had, off of that post, I had about 5 different people DM me on Facebook, and this is primarily on Facebook that usually people tend to reach out to me. But they were asking where this property was located. I had even a friend that lives in West Virginia that, was saying, oh, we're thinking about coming back down. We'd love, something like this. And just, 5 different people now on my warm list, cultivating from just a simple, quick and easy video.
That's great. So the
Yeah.
social media does work and it's turning into real commissions for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sarah. I love, definitely follow our panelists today. If you take a look at the chat, everybody who's speaking today, Sarah Robertson, Sarah Rothstein, and everybody else, all of their handles are going to be there. Give them a follow, see what they're doing, and see if you can recreate that. As we say in the coaching world, R&D that, right? Rip it off and duplicate it. Let's go ahead and switch gears here. My buddy Maxwell over in the Poconos. Maxwell, how are you?
Hi guys, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you, buddy. Nice to see you here. Now, Max, you have a special take on how to go about social media. Tell them about, how you approach it.
So, I think everybody knows, or I'd like everybody to know, that I'm really big into the forever agent movement. And I think that real estate's more about people than it is about properties. And it's more about relationships over transactions. So what I found quite recently is being as authentic and vulnerable as possible. That way my ideal client can get to know me before meeting me. When I started in video, I was scared when the camera got out and I didn't know what to say. It would take forever to get the take right and it was expensive and frustrating. I hated it. So I had to just keep pushing forward and I got out of my comfort zone and I started to find my groove by just being authentic and speaking my truth and what I believe. And when I did that, it just started flowing out of me. And my audience or my clients and my social media presence, they were more connected to it. So I like to quote one of my favorite speakers, Simon Sinek. He says, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, right? And simply what you do proves what you believe. So for me, that's just being me, doing videos that excite me, talking about things that I think matter. I think it's good to know your audience, but I think it's better to attract your people, right? So even when showcasing a listing, I shoot the video, or I'm not shooting the video. When I'm getting shot on the video, I feel when I'm doing it, I'm talking to I act like I'm talking to a close friend. And that was a really good trick for me because it was just me being me on the video. They cut some of the stuff out, I would say, to the close friend, but that really helped me a ton. And then my social media strategy was spray and pray in the beginning, just post it everywhere, hope for, something. And that's kind of been fine-tuned. And I think that's going to be more, that's just always going to evolve, how I'm posting and what I'm doing. But I think my key takeaway would be don't wait. I just do it. I wish I did more video when I started, but I let my fear get in the way. But once I overcame that, just recently, actually after Explosion, I did 3 videos and it has blown up and accelerated in a very short amount of time. And I think that was just from me being me.
Well, everybody tends to, especially new agents, they tend to feel oh man, everybody's going to judge me because of the way I look or the way I sound. I think it's a great reminder, Max, that everybody likes the way you look. Everybody likes the way you sound. It's just sometimes we have to get out of our own way and out of our heads, right?
For sure.
You recently did a great property marketing launch video, and you had a great event going on. I loved the video myself. I watched it on Facebook and on Instagram because you posted on different platforms. Tell us a little bit about how that went for you and what the feedback was.
So that was thanks to my buddy Jake. His videographer came over to my event. It was just awesome. I think it was, my whole goal was to include the community, and I had sponsors there, and they shot individual people. And these are people that are local area knows. So like it just came together, and I think it was a hit. Wasn't as many people as I would like it to be, but I think the video helped, move that forward.
Yeah, I like that, Max. Speaking on authenticity, I want to ask the group right now, all the panelists, what do you think about having, blend of your personal life with your real estate life in one social media account? Or do you guys subscribe to the idea that you should have a completely separate personal account and a separate business account? What do you guys think on that? Chime in for just a moment.
I think it's important I'm a big believer in just having one account. I don't think, it's less to manage. And at the end of the day, I think, going off what Maxwell said too about being authentic, there's nothing more authentic than people seeing you outside of work. If people understand you sell real estate, people understand you hustle and you work hard, that's great. But they want to know who you really are. What do you like to do? They want to see your family. They like to see you be more personal. And I think they feel more of a connection and more comfortable with you before they even meet you. Plus, it's less to manage too. So that's a lot easier.
Hey, tell them who you are, Nico. Tell them who you are, where you're from. Yeah.
Sorry, Nico Orozco from Omaha, Nebraska.
All right, you gotcha. And Marie, I think you're going to chime in for a second on that.
Well, I was just going to say, I think every platform's a little different, but I think for me on Instagram, I definitely do more personal stuff in my stories. I think if you go to my story at any given moment, like there's always something kind of personal mixed in. And I think that helps people get to know you in a little bit of a softer way than like constant personal posts, but that's just me.
Yeah. And Marie, where are you from again? Where you from?
Portland, Oregon.
Marie Boatsman, Portland, Oregon. All right. Does anybody else have any thoughts on keeping your social media either all in one place, sharing both personal and professional, or keeping them separate? Any other thoughts on that?
I was just going to say, I want people to know the real me, and I want to work with people that like me. And so that's why another reason why I think it's really important to keep it all together.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably the best practice. And like Nico said, very efficient, less to manage. Well, thanks for sharing all that stuff, Max. Good job. Keep it up. I'll always follow our panelists. Take a look in our chat box, find our panelists' names. We're going to move on here. And then she just introduced herself, but we're going to ask her to introduce herself again. Miss Marie Boatsman, would you please introduce yourself? Tell people who you are, where you're from, and let's get some information about how you approach social media, my friend.
All right, Marie Boatsman, Portland, Oregon, Berkshire Hathaway, Northwest Real Estate. Been in the business 18 years, and I have been doing video for probably about 14 of those years, but it definitely started off very differently than it is now. So I think the biggest thing, honestly, and I know it's been said, but like consistency. Consistency is key. Not everything is going to be polished, be great. I think staying true to who you are. But for me, like somebody said earlier, I think it's really about figuring out why you're doing video and your why behind it, what your sphere is, who they are. Everyone's is going to look a little different, but my biggest things right now that I would say I'm focusing on are just listing videos. I'm very listing heavy, but I think that's truthfully come from years and years of doing listing videos. So if you want more listings, the best way, in my opinion, to get them is to show off your listings, or if you don't have your own, show off somebody else's. People are eager to have their listings promoted right now. So find your target city, price point, find an agent that's willing to let you do a video of their home and go do a video. You can do a reel, you can do a professional one on your phone. Just use that as a starting place. And when you're in a listing appointment, I guarantee you those people are going to look you up higher. They're going to see those listing videos you've done, whether it's yours or someone else's, and it will help you get more listings. So I have been trying for years to kind of get my average price point up. And so I will do listing video on any listing of mine, whether it's $200,000, $3 million, they're going to get video. But I will say the more they just kind of snowball up. So the more and more you do, higher end, whatever, it's going to help you snowball. So listings for me are huge. I will batch content when I'm shooting a listing video. For me, it's how can I get more out of the time that I have? And so if I'm shooting a listing, I'm going to literally get enough content right now to do anywhere from probably 4 to 10 videos. And I know that sounds like a lot, but a lot of it's B-roll that if the house doesn't sell in 30 days, I can be like, okay, let's put together a B-roll video to this song and let's get it out. So when I'm sitting in a listing appointment, I am telling my clients that, hey, look, if your house doesn't sell right away, I'm not going to roll over and play dead. It's not just going to sit in the RMLS and be stagnant. I'm going to have months of video that I can market. And that's huge, you guys, especially in this kind of interesting, world we're navigating right now with listings. So you know, I'm shooting, like I said, enough to do multiple videos there, and also use those homes to create even just other content that's maybe not specifically about that house, but if it's design trends or even just a reel you've been wanting to shoot, but you just need a backdrop or something. I mean, you can really batch videos with shooting listings. So listings have been really huge for me. And then also,
sorry to interrupt you, then I'll let you go.
Yeah.
You said one thing that I definitely don't want to miss is you said, even if you don't have listings or you don't have a lot of listings, go shoot other people's videos. Right? I think sometimes we get stuck in our own little mind. It has to be our own listing. The truth is, we've seen in Rethink and across the country, people are going out and asking volume builders or luxury builders, can I video your house and put it on social media? And more often than not, they're letting you do that. So don't be caught in your own little head that it has to be your listing. If you're short on listings, you don't have listings, go out and ask other people to shoot their listings. And I'll tell you, new construction is a great source. Most of those people are going to let you do that because they want all the exposure they can get. So don't forget that.
Yeah, and I think I do a lot of mixed in new construction videos because I want to be that local source. If someone's wanting to buy new, I want them to think of me. So even if I have a ton of listings, I'm honestly still out shooting at new construction neighborhoods. They love it. Builders love it. It's easy. Your community loves it. I highly, highly recommend that. One thing I did too, side note for people that maybe have a lot of listings that are just sitting, and right now I know a lot of us do, host an office event at your listing and help people create content. So I did one recently. We went to 3 of my listings. A lot of my office came, which I was so thankful for, but like my office manager and I just helped them shoot content. So they each created a reel, they tagged me in it, they posted it, helped them, it helped me. My sellers loved it. So that's huge for a lot of you that have listings that are sitting. The other thing I do a lot of that has really probably been, for me, it's the best because I love doing it. But is small business spotlights. I grew up with parents that were business owners, just have a massive heart for my community and local businesses. So that's the fun part for me. So like using my platform to showcase others has been just so fulfilling. They love it. The community loves it. It really helps you with your personal branding too. So if you're mixing in listing stuff, I think it's very easy to tie in business spotlights and create your bigger picture brand. And you're really just becoming that like community mayor. But essentially I'll go in, this has evolved over time. I used to do really long ones. Now I'm literally just trying to keep them to a minute. I'm keeping the business owners really out of them to some degree. They can be in the background, but I'm not having them talk where I used to like interview them. So they're short, they're highlighting my favorite things about the place, putting B-roll over them, collabing with that business owner. So it's helping me, you know, gain traction with their people. They're gaining traction with my people. It's a win-win. I've never had a local business owner be like, don't collab with me. Side note, always make sure they want to collab with you though, because if they don't, it'll hurt your algorithm. So I always just ask up front on that, but no one's ever said no. And then, you know, I always do a little gift card drawing for that business. So share, like, comment, you know, I'll enter you to win a gift card. So those have been huge. They do not take a ton of time and they are so fun. So highly recommend the business spotlights.
Maria, I want to go back to your business spotlight, right? When you're creating the gift card, are you maybe leveraging those businesses in your geographic farm area? Are you trying to, you know, collaborate with them? And when you're passing out, you know, if you're doing any mailers or any drops or anything like that, are you co-branding with some businesses, or is it something that you haven't attempted?
No, those are all good questions. So I am really kind of being strategic with the businesses I'm, you know, highlighting. I think they have to fit what I like and me a little bit too, but also area wise. And naturally, it's when I started doing these, it was kind of like, okay, who do I know that would like let me do this, right? Because I was like new and just starting, and that's kind of evolved now where now business owners know each other. So like, you should do one for this person. So it's helping expand my network now and meeting business owners I didn't know before. But I do try to do those in areas that I do a lot of business in. I think that's important. And then I have used QR codes on certain, like, you know, I did a just sold postcard in a neighborhood I sell a lot in, and I did a QR code. I'll do a QR code on the back that's like, you know, here's a QR code to a video I did with this local winery, 20% off using Marie B or whatever. So yes, I have been incorporating those. I also, when I highlight local businesses, I'll try to buy products from them that I sourced in some of my client care gifts that I give out to. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. The box, right? The box that you showed us.
Hey,
we all saw those.
Hey, Vic, I was just going to point out when Marie said that she collabs with these places too. Marie's not just talking about, I don't believe, like, doing a gift card or a drawing or something for the business. You're actually talking about, when you say collab, you mean collab with them on Instagram, right? Maybe like explain that, because that was new to me and really helpful for how it touches so many people.
Yeah, so on Instagram, you have the ability of tagging people, which it'll show them that you've tagged them. They can share it easier. If you tag them in a story, they can just hit share. But collabing with somebody actually is something where they have to accept it. And then if they accept the collaboration, it shows up on your feed and their feed. So that's huge, because that's going to hit their people that are following them, your people that are following you. And ultimately, you're going to get potentially double or more of the engagement, depending on the size of, followers they have.
Good stuff. Marie, one last question for you before we move on. You mentioned something very unique. You said that when you go into a property and you're shooting it, you're shooting in batch. And in my head, I'm thinking you have a bunch of buckets where you want to place this content. One is going to be for, listing content in the future. One's going to be for property promo. One may be for client education. One may be like a just funny B-reel, kind of like the lighter side of real estate, if you will. What are the maybe top 2 or 3 buckets or batches, as you call them, that some of our audience members may want to consider when they're shooting their videos and different ways they can use them?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think for me, I kind of have 5 buckets. I won't go through all of them, but I think the ones you can use the most at a listing are obviously highlighting the listing, educational. So, right, like here's 3 tips that you should know about buying new construction, or whatever your educational piece is going to be. It's so easy. You can do that in there. And then I also think if it's a pretty house, like do some design trend stuff. Like I always joke that interior designers have it so easy on Instagram because everybody wants to see their stuff. And like, I think as real estate's harder because we don't always have the pretty stuff. So take advantage of your pretty listings and highlight the features. Maybe it's like, 5 design trends I love about this home, or, really anything. You could do just a highlight of just their surfaces, their molding, like whatever. People eat that stuff up.
I love it. I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing all that information. Let's move on a little bit here. Thanks, Marie. We're going to move on here. Nico, you there? Nico, tell them who you are, where you're from. Let's talk about how you approach social media and video content with our audience.
Absolutely. I'm Nico Marasco, Omaha, Nebraska. Sorry, my voice is a little raspy today. We had I don't know if anybody watches college football or follows college football, but a big Cornhusker fan. We had a pretty big weekend on Saturday, and 4.5 hours of screaming mixed with drinking whiskey apparently is not good for your vocal cords. So I know that now, and probably won't make the same mistake again. So when it comes to social media, a couple of things I think are really important are, number one is just knowing your strengths. And knowing your strengths, I mean, as far as kind of your business goes, I'm a big believer, and Vince always, preaches this and kind of pounds it into our heads is, what is your time worth? And I was finding that my time commitment to social media was pretty elongated compared to what I was getting out of it. I mean, it would take me a very long time to come up with a video idea, shoot the video idea, edit the video, only to have it look like it was a hostage video. It did not come out very well at all. So I, kind of actually had to thank my first Rethink meeting. We were talking about what are we going to implement in 1 year from now. And my goal is like, I want to hire somebody that can do all this for me, can help me with the social media. And that's been really huge, because I have somebody that's with me every day, who's in the office with me every day, who's understands how I talk, understands how I interact, and really helps me with that content creation. And I think, it kind of segues into something that's really important, and I think that we overlook a lot when we talk about social media, is analyzing the data. What are your posts doing after you post them? Just because you post a reel or you post something on Instagram and it's like, well, I got 4 likes and 17 views, that was terrible, let's scrap that. Well, no, but why did it, why was that the case? So I'm a big believer in measuring the analytics. All the platforms that you utilize they have tools to measure the analytics. We pay, it's $100 or $99 a month. It's a platform called Hootsuite, and it takes all the analytics from all of our social media accounts and just puts it in one central dashboard. And you can break it out by what platform you want to look at, or to look at all of them together. And that makes it a lot more, it's very simple to analyze. It's called Hootsuite, but someone just commented that. like owl, hoot, and sweet. And so like when we're looking at the analytics, we're looking at, okay, what are the best days to post? What are the best times of days to post? What are some of the best hashtags to use? We'll constantly kind of rearrange the order of a video. Like our home tours, we try to mix it up a little bit. Maybe we'll start with me introducing it, then go to the exterior drone, then go into the interior of the home, or vice versa. And we see, okay, this one got a little bit of a better engagement rate versus this. And that really, and also it helps with like, okay, how post frequency, am I posting too much? Am I not posting enough? And that kind of segues into a little bit too, what, Maxwell was saying is like being authentic. And, okay, so you're finding what videos work for you, what videos your audience wants to see. And so you're creating content that's going to generate an organic following and help, please the algorithm gods above to bless you with a lot of likes and views and all that stuff.
Nico, you absolutely, you and your team keep it authentic, man. I love watching your guys' videos. It's really fun to watch. You guys play some jokes on each other. You see all the back office stuff. And I think that really gives the audience, your audience, an insight as to who you guys are. You're real people, not just elite real estate agents. You're real people who like to have fun and enjoy what you do. Can you share a story with our audience on maybe one of your most engaging posts? Something that really, you put it out there and you got just a ton of engagement that turned into commissions for you.
Yeah, we've had some posts, I would say on average, our Instagram posts, without doing any sort of, advertising, on average, our videos get 15-ish, 100 views, 12 to 1,500. We've gotten some TikToks up in the hundreds of thousands when we do advertising. But what we're starting to see, and this has happened a handful of times over the past few months, is we worked really hard over the last year, like trying to create a authentic and just grow an organic following and not pay for followers. And what we're starting to see over the last few months is we're getting phone calls from people who, because when people are moving, they usually ask 5 people, hey, you have a good realtor? And they will, they get 17 names. And the first thing they do is, what I'm finding out, is they're going to social media and they're looking at their social media content. So we've actually won a handful of listings before we even step foot through the door, because they're seeing what we're posting on social media. Like, I like your energy. I like, the way, I like the style of video you guys do. You look like you're a lot of fun to work with. And so that's been the biggest reward. And it took a long time to get we have been religiously doing videos for about a year, and we're just starting to see, the fruits of that labor, but it's happening more and more frequently. So it's been pretty fun. It's been really we got a listing the other day, and the first question they asked me is what's the price, anything. They asked me, so what are you guys going to do for the video? How are you going to start off? What song do you think you're going to use for the video? And so that's pretty exciting to see.
Hey,
They
Nico,
want to get in the creative process.
Yeah.
Hey, Nico, you've talked about being authentic and being the real you, and you've talked about bloopers and doing some things, kind of poking a little fun at yourself. Can you chat about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's important, the videos, they don't need to be polished and perfect. We're not polished and perfect people. We, in videos that have the bloopers kind of, if you mess up takes, or you swear a little bit, or, stumble, or like fall over, that's happened before too. Leave them in the video. If you got the time, leave it in there. People love that. They think it's hilarious. And then we, for all the bigger videos we shoot, I don't like using the word script because we never follow, but we will use, AI to generate a script, but that ends up being more of a guideline. And 9 times out of 10, when we go to shoot a video, we'll look at the guideline and then we'll just on the fly, let it ride. And then it's just, we find it's a lot easier to talk to the camera when you're just having a conversation versus when you're trying to remember your lines and where you're supposed to hit your mark. It's really tough.
Love that. Thanks for sharing, Nico. Really good stuff there. And definitely give Nico a follow if you're watching this right now. It is hilarious, some of the things you guys post up there. We're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to go to my buddy up there in the tri-state area, Jake. Jake, how are you? Tell them who you are, where you're from, and let's hear about your short form versus long form video take on social media.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Jake Garay. I'm from Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Hudson Valley Properties in New York, basically working out of everywhere north of New York City. And I have a team of 10 agents. I've been doing this for about 9 years. And, for me, when I look at creating content, social media marketing, all of this, it's always been kind of try everything and see what works. And over time, you just evaluate what works, what feels comfortable. As Maxwell talked about, what's true to you. And so for me, I always look at, there's two types of platforms, right? I think in social media, whether you're looking at Instagram, whether you're looking at TikTok, whether you're looking at YouTube, Facebook, you have discovery platforms and you have consumption platforms, right? So you have a place where people can actually find out who you are and see you, and kind of like that 30-second, minute-long reel they catch on the For You page or in their feed somewhere, and they're like, wow, I like that video. And then they go to your profile, they look a little bit into who you are, and then they have consumption platforms. And that's YouTube long-form video, that's Facebook long-form video, where maybe it's a property tour, maybe it's a podcast interview, maybe it's a 10 or 15-minute educational video where they can actually get to really know you. Because if you have a minute-long video and it's got some B-roll and a couple of talking points, they're not really learning much about you. It's hard to let your personality shine when you're doing that. But if you're in a 15-minute interview or an hour-long interview in a podcast, then what that allows you to do is really see how we're conversational, our personality, how we think about things, how we approach things. So I think that is so important. What I love about that, the short form versus long form, is if, like, we do a lot of documenting. So whether it's a team meeting, whether it's a podcast interview, it's a lot of just organic content with the camera rolling. We're not sitting there staged talking, trying to present something. It's conversational. Some of my most popular videos have been videos that were literally just my team's meeting that we do every Tuesday. We roll the camera, then we clip it into a 1 or 2 minute video talking about a specific question that came up. And then all of a sudden we're doing 50, 60, 70,000 views. No intention whatsoever behind it, just educational, whether it's community-based content, talking about a local town or municipality, whether it's talking about the business itself. And then what ends up happening is those people find that video and they go to your profile, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on Facebook, and then you find them consuming more and more. They follow you, and now all of a sudden they're kind of along for the journey. They're learning about you and they feel like they know you, so that when they do reach out to you, it's like they know you, you don't know them, but they feel like they know you, which is really cool. So I think it's important to just try things out and see what you like. And for me, when I stopped trying to like create content and I just kind of turned the camera on and started clipping things, that's when it became much more natural. So it's like documenting versus creating. And then you take that hour-long video and you get 5, 6, 7 short form videos, whether the reels or TikToks or shorts out of that, and you can put that across all the platforms and see which one kind of does the best.
I like that. Now you mentioned, Jake, you mentioned your podcast. Tell them a little bit about your podcast and how do you leverage your podcast to social media video to get more conversation started for your business?
So basically, the podcast was something that started out as just like, hey, let's just try this, see what happens. We do 45 minutes to an hour long video. It could be people that are in the business as agents. They could be builders, investors, other entrepreneurs. And ultimately what ends up happening is we just sit down, film the conversation. We obviously clip that into 5 to 8 short videos. But I think the thing that's the best part about the podcast is not even the actual social media part. It's the ability to use, like, it's outreach, right? So if I have a builder locally that I want to do business with, I can ask him to come on my podcast, promote his business, promote his buildings, all of this. And now it's like, hey, I'm going to do something for you. I'm going to add value to you. And then I get to sit down with them for an hour, build rapport, get to know them. A lot of investors, the same sort of thing. And we do actual podcast video. We put it all out, Spotify, YouTube, all of these. We have the video, we have the audio, we do into short form video. But then on top of that, we've even done live podcasts during our events where we'll do a 15, 20-minute panel interviewing 2 or 3 local people. We give them the short form content of them talking about themselves. And that's also what happens from it is if we get a minute or a minute and a half long reel or TikTok from that podcast interview, they're going to go and post it on their socials. They're going to tag me or collaborate with me on the post. And then I'm going to get to be introduced to all of their followers as well. So it's almost like reverse marketing where it's like, hey, I'm going to provide value, but you're really getting something out of it just by making that introduction or doing that outreach, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, I really like that. You mentioned YouTube Shorts. You're using YouTube Shorts or IG or whatever to push them to your long form videos, right?
Yeah. So
Go ahead, Jake, go
YouTube
ahead.
was probably the least focused on platform when I first started. It was kind of like an afterthought. It was a place to just put videos, put them out there. And it's become arguably my most important platform because that's where the videos seem to do the best organically. No advertising spend whatsoever. Google's the second largest search engine. So it's a great place for people who are searching for local real estate. A lot of our community content will do really well if they're looking at for a specific town. It pops right up. They can learn about that. They see you're the local expert, and now they're reaching out to you. So I would say YouTube is huge. And one more thing, going back to kind of the discovery versus the consumption, if you're not putting out content, like if you say, okay, I'm going to go and create a video, I'm going to put it out there, and it does really well, goes viral, 50,000, 100,000 views. If you're not consistently posting content, there's nowhere for them to go and get more. There's nowhere for them to go and watch more of you. So you could have your first, second, third, fifth video do really well, but if you're not constantly and consistently putting out content, they're going to forget about you. You're not going, you're going to disappear, and now you've got to work so hard just to find, be face to face with them again. So
that's good stuff. Jake, can you give us a quick example of one of the posts, whether YouTube or IG or wherever the case may be, where you got some engagement that turned into a conversation, which ultimately led directly to a commission check?
So I have two quick stories. The first one was directly related to a transaction. I had someone who had been following a bunch of my property tour videos on Instagram, and they literally just sent me a DM and were like, hey, I'm going to sell my house. Would you want to sell it for me? So I went over there, met with them, got the listing, and then did some social media marketing around it and sold the house to another one of my social media followers and represented both the buyer and the seller all through Instagram.
Wow, you double-ended a listing, you got the listing, you found the buyer, and it all came sourced from Instagram, social media. That's awesome,
and then,
dude.
In terms of like the YouTube platform, I had a video I probably posted a couple months ago that we were talking about a local municipality and some of the building restrictions and new construction and some of the difficulties that they impose on investors and builders. And it ended up doing it's still going to this day, but it's at 60 or 70,000 views, 300 comments. And I didn't even realize it at first. My social media team had to come to me and be like, do you know this video is blowing up? And long story short, I actually had a couple of investors reach out to me personally to talk about kind of the process of investing in that town as a result of that video, which I didn't even realize. And that wasn't something that was set up. It was just in a team meeting. One of my agents had a question about going through this process. We shot the video, and next thing you know, I'm getting calls from people. So you just don't know what's going to work and what's not going to work. Sometimes you just got to put something out there and see what happens.
I love, Jake has said it twice, and I've never heard that before. He's recording his team meetings, and then there's a piece of content in that team meeting that he's using as a vehicle to go post something. That's brilliant. Because you're already having the meeting, so why not use it? If there's something comes out of it, why not use it right as part of your content?
And then we're using it too because we can basically backlog all that content. So if there's a specific topic that one of my agents has a question on, they can reference back to that video and have a place to go and rewatch or reconsume that content. We have meeting summaries, all of that. So it's a database of information for everybody for training purposes as well.
That is great. Hey,
That's
Vic, I
smart
think
stuff.
we need to get to Bridget before we run out of time here. So let's.
Oh yeah, we're getting to Bridget.
Let's not leave her hanging.
No, we're absolutely not. She's on our list, of course. We're definitely not leaving Bridget out. Miss Bridget, how are you? Tell everybody who you are, where you're from.
Hey, I am Bridget Baldwin, and I am from Tucson, Arizona. And I've been selling real estate for 15 years, and I run a team. We're going on our 7th year.
Yeah, and you have a very, very cool way of posting to social, really different perspective. Why don't you tell the group what some of your best practices are, and let's see if they can take away some gems from what you do.
Well, thank you. Really, I would say just besides everything that's been said today, and to piggyback off of Jake, you need to create content that is engaging. It's social media. So I feel like we're kind of losing the social aspect of it. And it's becoming this one-way stream where you're just on there consuming and not, if you're not getting engagement, then what's the point? Just to have people watch you, just to watch yourself. It's it doesn't make sense. So for me, I kind of fell into it, but I started talking about city stereotypes, like stereotypes of the people that live in the city or stereotypes about the city. And that has been the most engaging style of content that I've experienced. I'm kind of saying the stuff that people think, but they maybe don't want to say. And it keeps you top of mind and kind of in front of your local audience. So, recently I just talked about how in Tucson, we're really spoiled with our commutes. Everything is 15 minutes away. And if it's more than 20 minutes, no one's driving, like they're not going to go. And the amount of comments and shares and responses that I got from that were just really fun too, because you get different perspectives. There's two camps. There's people that are like, yeah, what's the big deal? I'll drive 40 minutes, da, da, da. And then the other ones that are like, if it's more than 20 minutes, I don't want it. So things like that kind of help you engage with your local community has kept the social in my social media.
You have a story, Bridget, where you posted something and you can directly source that post to an appointment that led to a closed transaction for yourself?
That's really hard for me to track just because, it takes a while, like Marie was saying, being consistent, putting content out there over time, then the real estate conversation started happening. So I can't say there was a specific video, but I will say there's a string of consistent video posting. I've been doing video for a little over a year and a half consistently. And I just started to see, the DMs coming in. I do have a listing that came from Instagram. She just messaged me and said, I want to meet with you about listing my house. And it was kind of this shock because you're doing it and you're putting the content out and you're having the little side conversations, but nothing's really happening. And then that happens and I kind of didn't know what to do. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. So I show up and we go through the whole thing. And then as we're leaving, she looks at me and she's like, you're exactly how you are in your videos. And I just love hearing that because like Maxwell was saying, authenticity is key. You don't want to be something on camera and show up and be something totally different. It separates you from the person, right? So being relatable, but also relating is really important. So I love, that was the best compliment I could receive. And I just want to keep that thread going in my content and make sure that whatever it is I'm talking about a lot, that's the response I'm going to get from people. So if I'm talking about real estate a lot, then when someone's thinking about selling their house versus renting it, they're going to hit me up because I'm the real estate person. But if I'm talking about farming or breeding baby bunnies, then, when people think about breeding baby bunnies, they're going to hit me up and be like, hey, you were talking about this a lot. So I would say, make sure your content is relatable enough to what it is that makes you money, to make sure that the conversations are on topic.
Now, Bridget, I love that. We're gonna just pretend we didn't hear about the breeding bunnies part, but good humor there. Now, I've been around Bridget, and I know, Bridget, you have a photographer with you most of the time when you're shooting content. Okay, tell us a little bit about your photographer. Then I want to open it up to the panel and see who else uses a professional photographer or a professional editor to help with their videos for social media and short form and long form. Bridget, tell us about your photographer.
Yeah, so I met him. He just was getting into real estate. He had moved to town. He wanted to shoot video content for realtors, and he was offering a quick, I'll just do 3 talking head videos, the straight to camera, 30-second videos for free. Just let me know what you think. So I started with him. We've developed a really good relationship, a really good, working relationship where we meet, we brainstorm, and then we'll set a date to shoot, and we'll just, get through. I was talking to Marie yesterday. I was on like a 12-hour shoot. It takes a long time, but then you're done for the month and you have everything you need to then post consistently. So I think too, especially in this environment right now, we need to be able to demonstrate our value, to our clients and to our prospective clients. We have to demonstrate our value. Why are we paying you X amount? Why are we paying you this much? Video is a great way, honestly, to demonstrate tangible value. I mean, there's a cost to it, there's a price to it, and you're demonstrating it just in the tangible element of the video itself. So they're able to see what they're going to get. Like if I lived in Oregon, I would call Marie. I would know exactly what my video was going to look like. And I'd be like, it's going to be sick, right? So I think having the relationship with your videographer is important. I know it's hard to find. I got really lucky with mine. But he helps hype me up too a little bit when I get overcritical. That's one thing too. Just post it. Who cares? It's going to get buried by everything else anyway. But there's one that I just posted about the driving where my belly's like hanging over my pants. And I'm just like, can you put the captions over it, dude? Can you like crop it in just to my face? And he's like, it's not going to look good that way. And I'm like, fine, whatever, just post it, you know? So just be relatable. Everyone has a belly that hangs over their pants, you know? So.
I love that. I love it. I love it. All right. Let's see. Let's go back to
Breeding rabbits and
our
bellies
topic
hanging over our
here.
pants. 2 top takeaways for the day.
You asked me to
I
be
mean,
here, okay?
Deer stand,
real.
hot tub. I mean, it's all over the place, right? I know some of our other panelists use professional videographers and editors. So out of those of you who use professional editing or photographers, just let us know if you do. Marie, I think you do as well, right? Jake, who else uses professional team to help them with their video content creation? And how about this? Who doesn't use a professional team and you do it all on your own? If you do it on your own, do you have any apps or any systems online that you use to help edit your videos at all?
I'm using so I do use a professional photographer for listing videos and things like that, but I do a lot myself also, and I'm using CapCut as an app that we've talked about here a few times.
Sorry, say that again. Say that again.
CapCut, CapCut.
CapCut.
Yeah, and it's a pretty easy system, and they have templates. You can make your own video with clips and do all kinds of different things with it, or you can use their templates. And then I also, like I mentioned, TikTok is really easy just for a fun, video, especially if you're just shooting some photos or just like a quick little reel of a listing. TikTok basically does it for you, so it's really easy.
I use CapCut as well. I have a lender partner that we do. We haven't been super consistent. We're trying to do every Tuesday. So we use CapCut when we do those just ourselves, little reels that we discuss a little different topic every week. But I use a videographer for when I do my walkthrough videos.
Okay, so you're using CapCut and a professional videographer yourself. Okay, I like that.
Brady, did you have something?
What, me?
Yeah, did you have something?
Oh, I mean, I use a mix. I do a videographer, but I do some of my own. And for my own, I'm just editing in like the Reels app and Instagram. Like it's easy. The algorithm likes when you use their own internal tools. So any green screen stuff, or just throwing together a reel. And there are templates in there. If you find someone else's post that you like and they've allowed a template to be copied, you can easily copy templates there too. So it's kind of nice. One thing I will say, 2 quick things. Bridget nailed it with the engaging. I think that's huge. I think you can do all the video in the world and just post it and disappear, and it's not going to help you. So like, make sure you're engaging with agents too. I've sent out 7 referrals this year that have transpired, and most of those are connections I've had through RETHINK or through the network, through social media. And, obviously it's a great opportunity for agents to get to know you, but it's also a great opportunity for you to get to know other agents. So, your clients, agents, just engage. I mean, it's huge. And then one thing I will say, I know this is video, and I'm all about video, but do not forget photo post. They are really important right now. And I think just that change up in your normal, like I posted something on August 19th and it was getting 4,000 to 9,000 views a day until like 3 days ago, it started to kind of slow down, but it's at 81,000 views, got over 500 followers from it, most of which are other realtors, but I've communicated with a lot of those agents. So I have all these great new connections with other agents in the country. And, just don't forget about photo post, mix it up a little bit.
I think, Nico, you use photo carousels as well, right?
We just posted one last week is when we had our prep call. Marie was talking about photo carousel posts, and I came back and I'm like, hey, we need to do a photo carousel post. And it freaking rocked, dude. It was awesome. And it's so easy. You already have the photos. I didn't have to talk or anything. It was awesome. So I texted Marie, I'm like, make sure you talk about the photo carousel post. I don't want to steal your thunder on that. So it didn't get 90,000 views, Marie.
That's a rare one. Normally they don't, and I think the bottom line, I think we'll all agree on this. I mean, like I said, Bridget was texting last night and she had her 12-hour day. Like, you can break it, you can put it in one. Don't let that overwhelm you. But the bottom line is, though, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, this is not easy. Like, none of this is easy. It takes a lot of time, but I promise you it's so worth it. Like if you commit to it, like it will come back to you tenfold with relationships, with clients, with everything. So highly, highly recommend putting the time in.
We've only got a couple minutes left. Can we get 15 seconds to each one? Just run through what one final thought that each one of you have. Start with the Sarahs if we could.
I'm just gonna say be consistent and don't be afraid to embarrass yourself or you're just gonna get better over time. So consistency is key and just get out there and do it.
I would say find what works for you. I mean, as you can see, there's whatever 6 of us here that all do kind of different things. We're all successful in our own ways. So you have to find what your sphere wants to see and figure out what they're going to engage with and how is that going to convert into a conversation about real estate.
Maxwell.
I think it's the most important thing is have fun. I love what Marie said. This isn't easy, but just have fun, do your thing and be yourself.
Bridget.
Don't take the social out of social media and post the belly.
Marie.
And the button.
I think don't get in your head about the number of views you're getting. And that's going to look different for everybody. It's hard not to, but more people are seeing it than you think are. If they're not commenting or liking, it doesn't mean they didn't see it. I'll be in a grocery store and some random person will come up to me and say something. I didn't even know they followed me, didn't know they saw it. So just keep doing it. Even if your views aren't great, it will pay off.
Jake.
Don't overthink it. Something is better than nothing. Just put yourself out there and you'll get more comfortable. You just can't get discouraged at the start. Just keep doing it and stick with it.
Nico, wrap us up.
I think, if you're not doing a lot right now, focus on one platform. Focus on one platform and something short on a consistent basis. And once you get that dialed in, start spreading over to other platforms and copy and pasting. And before you know it, you'll be off and running.
Vic, thank you for moderating this. Any last thoughts you have, and we'll wrap this up with you.
I think this is a fantastic panel. We had some good information from all around the country, from different top producers. It's really about people going out there and exercising these things they've learned today, figuring out what works for them and getting to it consistently. Thanks so much for having us, Vince. Want to close it out?
Guys, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
Thanks, guys. See ya.